Hi, this is JResh08, and I am going to be making a series of GameMaker tutorials. Now, for starters, we're going to have to begin with the basics, and I mean really basic. So, let's open up GameMaker, which you can download at yoyogames.com. I don't have the pro version, so okay. Now let's start. When you open GameMaker, it shows you this window. And at the beginning, it can seem very confusing, but trust me, it's not. So, let's begin. Every game has to start with a sprite, which is basically just what your object or player or what have you will look like. And in order to create a sprite, you simply right-click on the sprites folder, like so, and click Create Sprite. Once you've done that, you rename the sprite, and I'm going to call mine Player. Now, you have to actually create the sprite, so we click Edit Sprite, and it opens up this window. This is your actual sprite right here. So what you want to do is double click on this to open it up so you can edit it. Now you see this window. And this window is where you edit your sprite. So in order to magnify this, you simply click this plus sign a couple times. And now it's bigger. So let's just create our quick player. It works like any normal paint application. Pretty simple. So there's our player. Now, a lot of people that make tutorials for GameMaker don't really go into much depth. And that really bothers me because I used to be a beginner as well. So that's what I'm kind of trying to make this tutorial for. So in order to get out of this, you simply click the green check. Now notice over here it doesn't show those green boxes around it like it does over here. That's because transparent is checked. If you uncheck it and go into Edit Sprite and go to Show Preview, it will show those little green corners. But we don't want that, so let's keep it checked. And let's get out of the sprite properties by clicking OK. Next, we got to create an object for our player. An object is what actually makes the sprite move or do whatever you want it to do. So we right click on that and click Create Objects, and we rename it to Player, and we give it the sprite by clicking this drop down menu. We make it the player sprite, and that just means that this object will be represented by this sprite. Next, we add an event, which is simply what tells it's simply what tells the object to do something when that event occurs. So let's make it simple. Click mouse, click left pressed, and now it says we have a left pressed event. Events don't do anything unless you have an action. Now, right now, this event doesn't have an action. So let's give it one so that it does something. I'm going to make my player move wherever my mouse is whenever I left click. So that's the event that you need to do this, and this is the action you need. This one right here. An action is what actually tells the object to do something. So you left click and hold it and drag it into the actions box, and this pops up. This menu right here. Now we want it to apply to self, which is basically saying that it'll apply to this object, and we make it in the X tab. We say mouse underscore X and mouse underscore Y. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what X and Y are, they're simply variables. Variables they aren't really anything in particular, but in this case, X represents the x-axis, which is the flat line in any graph, and Y represents the vertical lines, which is the lines that go up and down in a graph. So that's pretty simple. And by putting this into there, it basically is saying to, whenever I left click, move towards wherever my mouse is on the screen, and we want it to move at at about a speed of 3. I don't know why you don't check relative, but you don't, so don't. So we're done editing what we want to edit for our player, and we click OK. But you can't actually play a game unless there's a room in GameMaker. So you right click on rooms, you click create a room, and now you're faced with this window. And this window is your room. In order to place an object in there, notice this is your player that you've created. We want to put that in this room. So we click this drop down menu, this little icon right here, and it pulls up this drop down menu. Now, if I had more objects than just my player, they would be here. But since I only have my player, that's what I want. And in order to put it in, you simply go to the graphed out area and you left click. Now to delete that, you right click, and to create many, you hold shift and left click. It's that simple. Now you right click to delete, and there you go. Now let's put our player in, let's check our room, and let's run the game by clicking this green arrow right here. This is your loading screen. And here is your game window. It opens up whenever you click the green arrow that says run the game. Notice we have our player here. And notice whenever I left click, the player follows. Or not. My bad. How did I mess up? Oh, I remember. I am sorry. I am very sorry. Delete that event by clicking the delete button. Add an event, mouse, global left pressed, and redo what we just did. I am very sorry about this. Mouse X, mouse Y, speed 3, relative, no. Click OK, click OK. Let's try that one more time. Now, notice when I left click, it follows where the mouse clicked. Pretty neat, huh? And if I click multiple times, I can make it move smoothly in any direction I want, really. So, that's a very simple game. In order to save this, you simply click this icon right here. In order to open it, open a previously saved file, you simply click this. And in order to exit out of GameMaker, you simply click this. So, let's exit out. You would probably want to save this, but I'm not going to. And this was my first GameMaker tutorial by JResh08. Thank you for watching, and I'm not really going to say subscribe, but subscribe.